So at some point you decide that you start promoting.
Yep.
Why?
That's a good question, actually. When I look back at the sergeant testing,
Mm-hmm.
I was here, that was '03. I got promoted in '07. So I started full time in '03 and made sergeant in '07. I basically kind of looked at the testing and went, why not? It's weird. It's just like, why not? But there was many people in front of me that I thought were better. There were 6 of us that tested for sergeant up front, and all I said was, "You're going to have an older sergeant, 43 at the time, I think. 40, no, how old was it then? 47, something in there. Like you're going to have somebody that has a little more maturity and a little more um, emotional check,
Mm-hmm.
IQ,
Yeah.
things like that. Like, um, so I just thought I would do that with no. And if I didn't get it, I would stay in detectives my career. That's what was going through my head. So I just, all right, see what it is. And then I got offered the job. Um, it was one of those where I also said, to be frank, I said, there's somebody ahead of me that I think is better. And I got told, this might not ever come along if you're catching the football. So I went, okay, I'll take it. So I got promoted and went into patrol. I have a very, very strong bias that if you're going to promote to sergeant, if you came out of detectives, you are a better sergeant. And the reason is, you've worked with the prosecutor's office, worked with the the judges, you've worked with the advocate groups, so you know what everybody kind of wants, you know what they're looking for, you know what's important in reports, you know how to write warrants, all right, that's a mailbox vandalism. Don't spend forever on that. It is what it is. And then you have this case. We need to spend time on this case and learning how to write reports. Make sure you're meeting the elements. I think I was a much better sergeant from coming out of there and knowing that and teaching the guys that. Some of them didn't like it because their their reports had to be much more detailed.
Yeah.
My biggest one, if it's not on paper, it didn't happen.
Right.
You say you did that. Where's this? You didn't say it happened. And trust me, if you ever go to court 6 months from now, you say you did it. If it's not there, you're going to get eaten up. So make sure, even if you don't think it's that important, but in those bigger cases, you got to put all in it. So I feel you become a better patrol sergeant from doing that. So
Once you started to promote, was there a sense of I'm going to try and get as high as I can, or was it no, I'm just going to promote to this level?
no, when I became sergeant and then I started working up, I did have thoughts of my career goal was to be a lieutenant,
Okay.
no higher.
What? Why stop there?
Why stop there? There's 2 reasons for stop there in Bonneville County. One is it's a crappy reason, but the captain is salaried and I'm hourly, so I actually make more money. So, and our lieutenants, I know bigger agencies, Ada, I think, in Boise, maybe lieutenants are salaried. IF, they just did that. So a lot of people don't want to rank up
Mm-hmm.
because when you're trying to get, especially in the state of Idaho, get your highest rule, your highest 42,
Yeah.
you just do some overtime and rank that up. And if you promote and you're a lieutenant, you're not going to make as much. So I did think about lieutenant. I tested for lieutenant 3 times before I made it. 4 times, I think. 4th time was the time I made it. So one was just to get in the process and I felt like if you want to help develop how the agency runs and where you want it to go and issues you see, you need to be in that position to help fix it. And I also thought I had, and I don't know what the guys actually thought, in here to go, I'll listen to you. I'm not going to say no. If you got a good idea, let's bring it up. Let's try to get it to work. So I tried a few times and then made it toward the end of my career, not knowing, but I was 59, 60 when I made lieutenant. Could have retired then, because that's about when my rule 80 reached, but I figured I was going to go 4 more years because I also had a divorce right in that time, which bad time to get divorced, totally my fault. And I was all set, but now I was like, well, now I need insurance and things like that. So, yeah, I need to stay at least till 62 to be able to collect my Social Security. So at least that was going through my head. I got to stay till 62 so I collect Social Security and be able to make it between my pensions and everything else I have. So that was one of it. So sergeant to lieutenant took a little while, but I moved in different sergeant positions. And what I liked about that, actually, as much as when I made wants and warrants lieutenant, I got put in that slot. I didn't want it. It's transporting the prisoners around. It's over the sex offenders, and it was over driver's license and things like that. It wound up actually being a fun job because it's you get to arrest them and you get the paragraph report. I went and found somebody at his house. I told him he was under arrest for his warrant. I put handcuffs on him, double locked him, put him back, transport to jail. It's kind of a fun job because you get to chase the fugitives and very short paper. So it was fun learning about the sex offenders and keeping track of that. Gave me a bigger idea of, there was like, at that time, over 300 or so in Bonneville County to help keep track of and do all that. And, if they screw up or do up, that's your function to go do that. Being over a driver's license was interesting because they're non-commissioned and more just making sure they handle the money right, get that right. And everything's run by the state, really, how that runs. So just learning that perspective. So then chose Ammon Sergeant next because I felt there was a little more responsibility. Ammon is a contract city for Bonneville County. They pay us some good money to contract with them, and they get a lot of services for us to get a SWAT team, a dive team, a bomb squad, full detective division when they'd be out of being a contract city. So by being that, I think it gave me a little more responsibility. At that time, also became the FTO sergeant. Those are two things that was really, really tough to give up to become the detective sergeant. One, I think as the FTO sergeant, you're shaping your office. You're shaping the sheriff's office. I always had that conversation with the kids coming in. Here's our expectations. Here's my expectations. I'll help you. Just let's have honest conversations. Make sure you've talked to your spouse, because I've seen that go south. Somebody was halfway through. Spouse said, didn't think it was going to be like this. Done. Just make sure you're having those conversations and do that. And then with the FTOs, you are shaping your organization. So to me, that's a hugely important job and setting the character of your office.